Good morning. My name is Jo, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. My channel is called Love Answers because hopefully on this channel you will be able to find guidance when it comes to love. All of my content is based on my deep meditations, and we'll be running through several different aspects of love. Basically, the purpose of this is to help people, to put some love out into the world. We've all been through a very, very traumatic 18 months, and I think everyone could do with a little bit of love. And, talking about heartbreak is about loss. And most of us have lost the life that we were used to. Life is different, it's very different, and not just in my country, in countries all over the world. So I just wanted to put some love out into the world and share my knowledge, my understanding, my experience with you. So what I'm going to be doing is having a selection of cards. The first one is Love Is. The next one, Heartbreak Asks. And these are questions that come up when we're heartbroken. And what I'm going to share with you are my experiences, my knowledge, and my understanding. And obviously these are my own personal experiences, my own knowledge, and my own understanding. So whatever resonates with you, take away. Whatever doesn't, leave behind. There's no right or wrong in this. It's an individual journey, but we're all human beings. We all have the same mind and we all have the same emotions. So there will be something that will resonate with you. And Love Answers are cards that are based on my meditations, and they cover earth, air, fire and water, and they're all based around nature. So I'm going to try to show how love is simple. I think it's, as human beings, we complicate it. Heartbreak Asks, just to alleviate a little bit of suffering. And Love Answers is the love answers which will help you to heal and have well-being through healing, because we all talk about self-care and well-being, but when we're healing, that's something that we don't really do. We become so absorbed by the pain that we're going through that we don't really consciously think about our well-being. But what I'm hoping to do here is to give you some tips and tools to be able to really focus on your well-being, because when we focus on the self and we give love to ourselves, that is when we begin to heal. So I will be running a short course down the line, not yet, but down the line I will be running a short course, Heartbreak to Healing. So that will have some tips and some techniques that I've used and that I use with a lot of other people in the healing process. So let's begin. Let's start with, I'm super excited to share this with you. So let's start with Love Is, and how simple love is. Right, okay, let's just take, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take the cards that come out. So if it's one card or two cards or three cards, whatever comes out. Okay, so a moment in time and air. Okay, so love is a moment in time. And so much about love is about what happens in a moment, and it is a moment in time. People say, oh my gosh, it was just a moment in time, it was perfect. And life is about moments. Life is about moments that take our breath away. And I think sometimes what we do, we try to hang on to that same feeling in that same moment. Everything is about energy, and when it's like two people coming together, it's electric, that energy, and it is a moment, and that's the magic. That's where the beauty of magic lies, in that coming together. But it is a moment in time, and sometimes when we look at it, like, it is a magical moment, but it will never stay the same, because we're always evolving. If you have two people come together, they evolve at different times. It's like nature. We change. Nature changes every moment. We change. Everything we do helps us to evolve. And if you think back to how you were maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you're probably a completely different person. At the core, your soul's the same, your spirit's the same, but your external personality changes through the experiences that we go through. So I think I kind of like to look at it as love is a moment in time, a precious moment that you keep those memories forever. But, you know, the minute you start to put heavy weight and heavy expectation on, it's like anything. When you start to put heaviness onto something, it crushes it. So the more you can think of it as every moment is a beautiful moment, whatever you're going through, the easier things become, the easier life is. And every moment is, in my experience and my opinion, every moment is magical, even when you're going through heartbreak. Because when you're going through heartbreak, something is normally ended or you've lost something. And it is horrific and it is terrible and it does deplete you and you lose your self-worth and your confidence. But when you're taken down to that kind of raw part of yourself, that is when the healing begins. I find that an extremely exciting place because it's like all of a sudden you're stripped of everything and you're bare. You know, you're naked. It's like autumn. You're standing, the trees are bare, and it's like a preparation. You know, it's going into winter. Imagine when autumn comes and then you go into winter, the leaves are bare, the trees are bare, the leaves have fallen, and you go into winter, which is hibernation. And that's exactly what happens with going through healing. You know, you're naked, you're bare, but then you go into hibernation and you withdraw within yourself. And what happens, we go within ourselves and we stay stuck. And what I'm hoping to do with some of the advice and experiences that I've had is I've done it that way. Of course, I've done it that way. You know, I've lost quite a few people in my life who've passed on, but also I've had heartbreak in many forms. And I've dealt with it that way. I've gone in, withdrawn and put my pajamas on and pulled the duvet over my head and hidden. But what I felt in the whole experience and all the experiences I've had, that is the hardest way to do it. And it's the way that I wouldn't advise. Of course, get into bed, pull the covers, watch movies, get cozy, have a hot chocolate or even a cup of tea. I will be having tea every week on here, different teas, because I love tea. And whenever we're going through heartbreak or anything, in England, we say have a cup of tea. So we're going to have a cup of tea every week. But, you know, do that. That's fine. But don't allow yourself to stay stuck. And the way we shift that is we go into ourselves. And, you know, I believe, because this is the way I did it, went into deep meditation. And you can start to shift your perspective. You can shift things. And using breathing and breathing techniques, you know, there's so much of this out there now. And I've been doing this for a long time. And what I learned when I first started doing it, I found it such a struggle, you know, to sit down and breathe. And now I do it every day because breath is life. And coming to the next one, love is air. Air is breath. When you're breathing in air, you're breathing in life. And again, nature is our healer. You know, people say whenever something happens or you're in shock, take a breath. But what people normally do, they don't really take the breath. What they do, they kind of panic and they pretend they're breathing. But when you absolutely consciously sit down with absolute objective and take the breath, then a shift happens. Because what happens, the mind opens. And when the mind opens, you start to gain clarity. When you gain clarity, you gain calmness. When you gain calmness, you gain balance. And then the emotions become still. And when we're going through heartbreak and loss, the emotions go into absolute chaos and there's no clarity. So the first point of call is air. Love is air. It's breath. It's everything around us. And without it, there is no life. So you have one of the greatest tools around you to heal yourself. And I will be doing the course, like I say, coming up, and there will be a lot of this type of thing in it, because I do believe it's the answer. It's the answer to finding that unconditional love. And that is what it's about at the end of the day. I found on my journey through everything I've been through, connecting to that inner self and finding my truth connected me to that unconditional love. And when you live in that place, you project love and love comes back to you. And it becomes easier, it becomes simpler, it becomes nicer. And these words seem quite boring words. But, you know, at the end of the day, just to be able to have a level of peace of mind. People say, oh, no, but I never have peace of mind because I've got so much going on in my head. Yes, we can all have peace of mind. I am no different to anyone else out there. We're all the same. We all have the same feelings. We all have the same emotions. We all have the same capacity and the ability. And it's like anyone who does any kind of spiritual work or healing or psychic work, anything, we all have that ability. It's just we're never taught, you know, majority of us are never taught how to do it. And we never believe we can because we're not shown that, you know, unless in some cultures we are, but not in every culture. And I think, you know, whatever I can do, you can do. We can all do it. It's just having the want and the will. And when you have the want and the will and the desire to do it, everything opens up. So yeah, so our two for this week are a moment in time and air. So, you know, just take a moment to think about your life in moments and how moments have changed your life, and just take a moment to be grateful for them. You know, whatever's happened, I look back and I look at all the good and all the bad, and I'm grateful for every single one of them, because every single one of them have brought me here now. And all the time you have breath in your lungs, you have life, and you can do absolutely anything. So look back at the moments and be grateful. Just, even if it's challenging, just be grateful, because even if you're going through heartbreak, the lessons you will learn and the understanding that you will gain will move you forward in life. And we can have a choice in how I believe there's a choice in how we heal. You know, we can either take forever to heal and go through absolute trauma, or we can accelerate that healing and come out of it more connected, more balanced, more secure, more centered, and with more love.